We're live now. There we are. Bobby Lynn's here. She's the first.
Of course she is.
Welcome.
We're talking about missing peaches.
Welcome, Kwame. I haven't seen your name before. We
Yeah.
usually wait a few minutes to see if people filter in before we get going with the madness.
Yeah.
Missing peaches?
Yep, missing peaches.
Missing peaches.
Mm-hmm. Who stole my peaches?
Some peaches that I miss.
That's funny.
Shit. I forgot that was this is all recorded. Whoops.
Oopsies.
Y'all didn't hear nothing.
Good.
And
yeah, you just pretend you didn't hear
you
nothing.
can't play it back as many times as you want, which you absolutely can.
Peaches come.
I mean, I could always just paywall it after. Yeah, I was assuming we were going to get a light crowd in here, because everyone has lives except for us. So,
hey, you don't speak for me.
Well, I mean,
I could have been at my mom's right now, but I decided to do this instead.
Why?
No, she even texted me. She said, I completely forgot you do your live on Saturdays. I said, yeah.
Oh, she knows all about it, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. Hello, Juliet. All right, so why don't we'll just get going.
Okay.
It's only been 2 minutes, but I don't think it's going to be a light crowd tonight because everybody's doing things.
For sure.
So we are talking about tonight missing persons, specifically missing persons that go missing in national parks across the United States or near them. So yeah, missing people in national parks across the United States. You cannot. First, let me do a little bit of just a quick little stats here.
Mm-hmm.
The national parks in the United States cover roughly 85. Oh no, I lost the stat. Hold on, because I just literally said it in my head, and I'm like, that can't be right. But I looked at it so many times. It's a lot of miles. Okay, let's just say it's something like it's an amazing amount of miles, square miles to cover. You know what? I'll just Google it right now. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. I lost the stat. I had it, and I know what it is in my head, but all of a sudden I'm questioning it because I'm like, that can't be right. Hold on.
Happens.
No, I was okay. So I was not wrong. I was wrong a little bit. It's not miles. It's roughly 85 million acres. That's 85 million acres in the United States, national parks. That's a lot. That's a lot of area, right? And we're talking about people that go missing in and around those areas. It's really, I don't want to say it's difficult, but I mean, honestly, you shouldn't discuss the topic without, at this point, mentioning Paul. What is it again? David, I can't say his last name. David Paulides. He did the missing 411 documentaries, and his whole thing is he looks at the whole picture as sort of, and he's looking for patterns, right? He looks at locations, he looks at individual cases, and he's looking for patterns. He doesn't say it's Bigfoot. He doesn't say it's aliens. He doesn't say it's this, that, or the government or anything like that, right? He doesn't pin down one cause, which I know I feel like that you can't really, right? Because there's so many different things that could happen. Like, so, but what he does kind of imply is that there's something going on, right? there's some kind of connection between some of these cases. I don't know that I don't know enough about it to, even after looking at it for 3 days, I don't know enough about it to really say um, that there is, because of the sheer fact that it's 85 million acres of wilderness in
Yeah.
this country, and it's super easy to get lost and hurt
Yeah.
in almost all of these places. Um, so, I mean, the natural causes that could happen, the natural things that could happen the list is almost endless,
Yeah.
and it's could happen pretty easily. The interesting part about it to me um, was really the cases, specifically the cases where people just kind of went missing in areas where there was other people.
Yeah.
There was people around, like not that
And it
far,
was so quick.
quick in
So
some
quick.
of these, and immediately, right? You're going to think like, oh, it's that quick. It's got to be somebody snatched him up,
Hmm.
or maybe they fell in a. There's a feral trash pan again responsible for this.
I
There probably
mean,
is. Um, you never know. The possums could be guiding the feral trash pandas through telepathy. That happens, but somebody could fall in a ravine. Somebody could fall in an old mine shaft. The thing I think that David Paulides is trying to say with all of this, and I mean, I think he does have a point, is that not all of these factors exist in all of these places, right? Some exist in some places, some exist in others. Some are really, exposure is going to be an issue right away. Some it's like, ravines and rocks and alpine settings where it's just like somebody could easily fall. And um, I also want to say that, like, as far as search and rescue goes, we kind of have this vision of search and rescue where they say they've searched 10 to 20 square miles or however many it is, square acres, square miles. And we kind of have this vision that, literally somebody walked through every square foot of it or close to it. Um, the White Mountains are absolutely bad for people disappearing, and we're going to be talking about a specific case there. It's one of my favorite cases, and I hate saying favorite case, but I mean, true crime's kind of like that.
everyone has a favorite case of something.
Right. The White Mountains are really dangerous. I've been up there myself. The weather can turn like that. The terrain is extremely rough.
We'll
Um,
also be talking about
pe-
Bigfoot theories.
yeah, and people don't think, White Mountains in New Hampshire. When you think of like dangerous mountains, you think immediately Rocky Mountains, maybe parts of the Appalachians in the
Hmm.
south. But I mean, Mount Washington is up there in that area. It's not there, but same mountain range, and you know the Adirondacks is another one. We have a case there too. Outstanding. I'm glad people. Yep, the Adirondacks, they are creepy. They are creepy, and honestly, I'm actually not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I get in trouble when I do this, when I talk about states, so I'm not going to say it. But I actually, I, I, I actually love upstate New York. I think it's beautiful. I really do. I think it's one of these like kind of like untapped places that we don't hear enough about sometimes. But um, but anyway, I think with David Paulides, like his whole thing, I think to me the point that I get from him is that not all of these factors exist in all these places, and there does seem to be this weird, almost like some of the cases it's really hard to figure out like what happened, right? Like, I mean, obviously that's the point, right? But
Yeah.
it just doesn't. There's this weird a lot of meth tracking in the White Mountains. So that's a really great point actually too, because like if you stumble on a camp where they're cooking meth, or even not as much anymore because it's legal in most places where they were growing weed, you could absolutely go missing real quick, and they know what to do with you to get rid of you.
Oh, for sure.
They're not, yeah, they already have a plan in place, right? Even if they haven't used it yet, they know. But anyway, um, so yeah, we're talking about disappearances in national parks.
Hmm.
Why don't we um, why don't we dig into some individual cases a little
Which
bit?
one do you want to do first?
Um, do you
Do you
have
mind?
one you want to do first?
It doesn't
Why
matter
don't
to
we
me.
do that? Why don't we do Dennis Martin, because that one is like this, like the one of the
Okay.
more well known ones, and it's just strange.
I mean, it is strange. Okay. Dennis Martin was a 60-year-old boy who went missing in 1969, in the Great Smoky Mountains. He was on a camping trip with friends and family, and in yeah, near the Tennessee and North Carolina border. Him and his friends were
Hold
playing.
on one.
You're fine.
1 second. Of course, my thing went
It said nope.
booey on me. Yeah, it's doing the wrong one. Hold on.
I can see your screen.
Because all of a sudden it's just like, no, not that one. Hold on. I want to show you guys. I built a map, all right, and that's what I want to show you guys.
It's the map.
But it's for some reason now when I'm selecting it, it's okay. This is just this is just not what I'm trying to do here. It's showing all the wrong ones. Bear with me, all right. I'll get it eventually. All right, so I'm just, you know what? I'm just going to close those, and then we won't have this issue. Okay.
Heck, gremlins.
I apologize, everyone. I had it better set up than this before, but it just really didn't work out this time. Okay, so I built this really cool map, right? Like I made this, you know, I had help. But this is not all of them, but this is about 50 or so roughly cases in the United States in national parks. Some of them are deaths, but most of these are actual disappearances where no one was found, no remains were found. And we're going to zoom in on, I think it's one of these. Oh, there it is. Dennis Martin here. Dennis Lloyd Martin. All right. Now, right as you say, Rebe, right, this is the border between North Carolina and Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's North Carolina, right?
Yeah, North Carolina.
And it's in the Great Smoky Mountains. And why don't you go ahead and continue?
Okay. Dennis Martin was in the woods playing with some other kids. And they were trying to sneak up on the adults and trying to scare them when he walked further ahead in some thicker brush and then just disappeared. It was I think it was one of the largest search parties.
That's about what I read.
Yeah. And
it was one of the biggest searches in that area for
that time. And they never found anything whatsoever. Not a shoe, not a shirt. And let's see.
So I'll just fill in. It was
go ahead.
This Spence Field. This is where he and his family went to hike to that day, right? Yeah. This side here is North Carolina. This side here is Tennessee. And basically they were like just like Rebe said, the kids started playing hide and seek. I believe I read that the parents had they weren't they were there, but not within eye shot of the kids.
Yeah, no.
They had gone down the trail or something. That part was a little bit unclear. To be clear, though, that there was no accusations in this case made about the parents.
Yeah.
But and yeah, they went and played it. And I read that it was on the Tennessee side of Spence Field. Now, if you're playing hide and seek and you're a kid, right? There's the field. The Tennessee side is here, right? And what it sounded like he tried to do is really smart, actually, if to win hide and seek, not get lost. But he tried to flank them, basically. He tried to go out and around, right? That's kind of what you do. It's what you do when you play paintball or whatever. You flank and you go out and around. You don't go straight towards it, right? So he was either looking for a place to hide out here, or he was flanking around to find the people that were hidden. But if you look at that right there, you can see the elevation. You can see the cliffs right there. It drops. This is also the north side of the mountain range, which means the sun is hitting the south side. Now, a lot of people think east-west when they think of sun, but I know from doing solar in this part of the world that the south-southwest is what you want for best solar exposure. The sun kind of hits the south side first because it's lower in the hemisphere, right? So this whole area, and there's a massive ravine here.
Hmm.
Like that's serious right here. It, I've hiked in a lot of places. I've been to the Smoky Mountains. Um, this is hard terrain.
Yeah.
The trails that come in, yeah, no problem, no easy. That's why I mean you really got to stay on the trail in a lot of these places. So you'll get messed up if you don't. So yeah, he's on the shady side of the mountain, which means as soon as the sun drops, it's going to get dark,
Yeah.
especially down low in these ravines. You can see it. You can see the shade. Um, and there is nothing there. I mean, for a while. Like I said, I've been to this now. I've been to a lot of them. I've been to this national park. Um, I haven't been to this spot, but I've been kind of in different places of it. I think I was in. It doesn't matter. I've been to the Great Smoky Mountains, and there is just nothing. There's a camp here, but what's this, right? It's this little camp.
Hmm.
It's nothing. It's like a lean-to shelter, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's not even that. It's just a flat spot to put a tent, which tells you something. You know, there's not there's not a lot of options really if you're talking about like areas to maintain and survive in because this stuff is so thick in here, and it's so easy to get turned around. Now, the Great Smoky Mountains, they call it that because the mist rolls in and you can't see
You
anything.
can't see
I mean,
nothing.
it is like thick. So you can get turned around real fast. And you can have mist in one of these valleys or ravines right here and no mist everywhere else.
Yeah.
Now, I believe they said there was no inclement weather that followed or whatever.
No.
But again, as the sun drops, you're going to get mist in certain
Yeah.
places. It's just that's why they call them Great Smoky Mountains.
And I mean, you have to keep in fact.
The
Okay,
mist
so this
settles in the
was
lowest spots.
1969. We don't. They didn't have the
Yep.
technology or stuff like that we have now. So if that happened today, would the outcome be different?
No. Um, it depends. It depends on why he disappeared, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
Because
back
if
over
we're
here.
going based off
We'll go back
of,
to the map in a little bit, but um,
like, say that he fell and he got hurt and he fell in, he fell or something like that. Um, like, would it be different today? Would we be able to find him?
it could be. I mean, drones, right? You can
Yeah.
cover large areas very quickly with drones. Dogs, obviously, they had dogs back then too.
Yeah.
Those are your two best chances, really, to find them, other than just human eyes and
Yeah.
helicopters. Um,
And it was one
but
of the largest
you could see
search
with those
parties.
ravines, it was huge, it was massive. I think they pulled in the military from Fort Bragg, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was this one. And if that's the thing, though, you could have drones flying over those areas. You could have dogs, but if you fall in one of those ravines, there you might not be able to be seen by a drone. The
Yeah.
dog might not be able to get to the area where you're at, and that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Is we tend to think, oh, the search party went through and searched every square foot. That does not happen
No.
because of landscape, because of ridges and elevation and very thick brush and water. There are areas that just simply they do their best, right? But you
Mhm.
can't if you can't access it on foot from where you're at, you can't do it. You have to call in somebody else. You're going to have to go in there, and they can only get so far. And this, that, and the other. And then the sun goes down, and they got to call everybody back because they don't want to lose more people. You
Exactly.
cannot walk around. Yeah, you cannot walk around in these places at night.
No.
I grew up in kind of the woods, and I knew my woods really good, and I could walk there at night, maybe not get stabbed in the eye with a branch. you know, Forget it in one of these national parks. It's too thick. I mean, that like camping, whatever, hiking, you have to be in place
Mhm.
at sundown, before
So,
sundown, really.
some of the theories were, that he fell and he got injured. Then, maybe an animal got a hold of him. I mean, he was a 6-year-old child. It's not like he was very big. Um,
Yep.
But one of the most unusual theories is there was a family who said that they seen a man carrying something over his shoulder. And then, of course, that got retold into it was Bigfoot.
Well, yeah, and I read that they, they said it, they saw what they thought was a wild man, right?
Yeah.
He looked maybe disheveled, or
Hmm.
they didn't say beard, but you kind of got that impression of
Yeah.
just like
I mean, when you think
a
wild
wild
man, you
mount.
think beard,
Yeah,
dirty, big burly guy.
yeah, a
Yeah.
wild mountain man, right?
Yeah.
And they do exist. Okay,
Yeah.
there are 100%. We're going to do another signal seeker about this because it's one of my favorite subjects. But there are 100% places, mostly mountains, in mountain ranges, especially in the Appalachians, where there are these pockets of people, and they live up there. They've been living up there for hundreds of years,
Oh, for sure.
couple hundred at least. Um, it's usually a mishmash of sort of racial identity, because it's usually different sort of ethnicities that ended up blending together. But um, they have their own communities, they have their own culture, they have their everything, and they do not. Some of them never come off those mountains. Some of them stay up there,
They die
um,
up there.
and they die up there. They're born there up there, and they die up there. If they come off the mountains, it's either to leave for good or to get stuff, and they
Yeah.
usually just take
The
you know
mountains.
what they want. And I mean, like, I'm not judging at all.
No.
I To me, it's got a mystical quality to it, and like we're going to do another signal seeker on those sorts of communities in this country, because it's fascinating to me. Um, and like, yeah, here's banjos, folks. Like, they do exist. It's not just this like invent, because I've looked into it. There are documented places, communities, and um, he couldn't have gone that far on his own, dude. But also, there are creepies I don't talk about because I live in the mountains, and we don't say that shit up loud up here. Exactly, and that's exactly what I was about to get at. Is even the locals who live there, the people who interact with us on a normal basis in those areas. Yeah, I heard of Copperhead Road. It's one of my favorite songs, actually. Um, they don't talk about it. It's
It's like one of those
for a
things what
few different
happens on the
reasons.
mountain stays on the mountain.
Stays on the mountain, and a lot of times there's some blood shared, right?
Yeah.
So you're not gonna, you don't want to get them messed up, even if you don't even know them, like, because there could be some common things going on. But also, it's almost like superstitious too. They don't talk about it. They also do. People find out who talked about what, and you don't know what you're going to get, right?
Yeah, I'm
But
just going to throw this out there. If you want to read Cypress Hollow, that's what we're getting into.
I love it. It's really good. Cypress Hollow is really good. It's one of Rebe's new projects.
I had to throw that out there. Sorry.
It's fucking outstanding, right? It's really good. It hooked me right away. But the those communities do exist. However, in this case, it was really only, it was one family, right, that said we saw a wild man carrying something over his shoulder, right?
Hmm.
There was no other cooperating evidence, none,
Yeah.
right? They
And
didn't find
even that
anything.
wasn't like a verified,
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, it really wasn't. You won't. I couldn't find the family that said it. I couldn't
Yeah,
find a
because
name.
I don't think there's any record of it.
Right.
It's kind of like a he said, she said type of situation.
And now, this is a good segue into this just little tidbit. This is one of the most interesting I found. Wasn't in One of the most interesting things I found wasn't a bit of information. It was the lack of information.
Yeah.
There, when it deaths, there's lots of data. Deaths in national parks, there's plenty of data. Um, People that have been found, obviously, there's more data. And when they find remains, there's more. Right, that's deaths, right? But when it
Hmm.
comes to straight up missing people, the people that have gone just missing, no, nothing found ever. There is no comprehensive set of data.
Yeah.
You won't find one number, right, for all the national parks. Now there are
Hmm.
reasons for that. Obviously, it's a reporting thing. There isn't like a centralized. You would think the Bureau of the Interior would do that, or the national park system would have their own over-encompassing thing, but they don't. And I just want to also mention briefly that very recently, in the last couple of weeks, I think it was, the Trump administration put a gag order on.
Yep,
I don't even know if I'm saying it. Put a gag order on the national park system.
they did.
Essentially, it's a gag order. Yeah, they cannot now report those raw numbers
Yep.
like at all when it comes to accidents, deaths, and whatever else. It's going to be done on basically a piecemeal basis, which is a terrible idea.
Agreed.
It's why, right? To me, to the appearances, right? That's the first thing you're going to think of. Trump doesn't want people thinking like, oh my God, people go missing and die in national parks. They do. There's like,
All the
there's
time.
been all the time. There's like 300 to 400 deaths a year in all these parks.
Yeah.
It's a lot. A lot of people get hurt. A lot of people die. I'm not surprised by that at all. It's rough country. Shit happens. And these are places where tourists go.
Mm-hmm.
And things can go bad so quickly. They're trying to fund them, so they want to reduce the rangers. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right, Sam. You're absolutely right. They wanted to fund them, and they want to sell the land to mining companies. You're absolutely right. That's really what it is, right? But yeah, so if you gut the agencies that are in charge of those areas, eventually you're just going to have that land, and then you can sell. They want to privatize the land. Exactly. They want to sell it to developers and mining companies. It's awful because the national parks are the only thing we have in this country that really, in my opinion, worth anything. I mean, I don't mean value necessarily, but if you look at like Europe, right, they have castles going back to thousands of years of history. We only have really a couple hundred years of built up civilized history here that we can track, right? It's nothing, right? The buildings haven't been there that long. What we do have is amazing national resources and parks. Like, it's beautiful. I've been to a lot of them. That's really the best thing we have. We should not be selling it to private companies. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Why don't you go on with the Dennis Martin case?
That was all I had for that.
Huh? Or do we want to go to what happened? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go to the next case?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which one? Do you care which one?
Let's do Tom Messick.
Okay. Tom Messick was an 82-year-old experienced hunter who went missing in 2015 while on a deer hunting trip in the Adirondack Mountains in New York.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Him and his three friends got briefly separated, and then he was just never seen. That's really the basis of they went out. And I mean, they were literally separated for, I don't know, like not even 5 minutes, and he just disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, it was a deer drive, right?
Yeah.
They basically get in a line, and you push through the woods. You push the deer from one location to another, and there's people waiting, or sometimes the guys in the line will get a shot. You can be as close to somebody as almost 75 feet in these things. It's usually like 75 to 150 feet. You're not that far, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that distance is going to shrink and expand based on the landscape, and also like who's pointing their gun where. But you're not that far from other people. There was a lot of other people there. He's very experienced. He was also very old. He was in his
82.
late 70s, I think.
He was 82.
He's 82. I mean, and here we can look at the landscape here. I couldn't find exactly what side of the road they were on.
Yeah, I couldn't
it said this side, but there wasn't any real data to go with this. If I was looking at this from a hunting perspective, I would think they'd be either pushing from this field, or maybe they could have absolutely been pushing through these trees here. Now there's elevation here. It's not flat.
Yeah.
This looks like actually pretty rough country. Very rough country.
And
even though you see.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
He
Oh,
was
I was
82.
going to say, even though there's a delay here. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He was 82. So, of course, if he would have fallen or, something like that at his
Right.
age,
Yeah.
you know,
But why didn't they find him? They found nothing.
exactly.
Gone. No gun.
Nope. They heard no
Nothing.
gunshots, no
They heard no
struggle.
gunshots. Nope. Just gone.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and there's other experienced hunters in the area at the time, right? They this one was crazy to me. Like, they should have found something. What happened? And again, I think you have to really look at the terrain. From here, this is probably in the fall, maybe. You can see fall. This was taken in the summer. But if you imagine this, let's see. So deer season is usually one or the other. It's going to be spring, or I'm sorry, it's going to be. I was thinking turkey. It's going to be just before Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving, depending on the state, and then sometimes again in the spring.
Yeah.
So
He could have had a heart attack and fell into a ravine. You're right about that.
yeah, yeah. But again, massive search, dogs,
Yep.
helicopters, everything you can think of, right?
Yeah, because the
Nothing.
authorities were called I think his friends searched for a little bit and then they called the authorities because they could not find him.
Right, and I mean that's fairly typical for a group of hunters because people do get lost, even in these drives.
But he was
and they're usually found.
experienced. He knew his
Yep.
way around.
He knew the area. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You don't hunt when you're 82 and not know a thing or two.
Exactly.
Right. If he could be there in the first place, he knew what he was doing. Experienced.
Yeah. And that just goes to show how the wilderness can just, swallow a situation.
Swallow you up.
Just leave no answers whatsoever.
Now, the Adirondacks, I actually didn't look it up, but just based on the location, I'm guessing they got mountain lions there. I know we get mountain lions all the way down here in Massachusetts. So I absolutely think there's going to be mountain lions up here. They're throughout New Hampshire and the White Mountains too. A mountain lion is the if you're going to say something's just going to snatch somebody and nobody's going to hear it, that's what I'm going to think it is.
Yep. And
black bear.
Some of the theories are that he got eaten by something, or maybe he had a heart attack.
Yep, and then something grabbed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if a mountain lion gets you, it's gonna drag you to a place. Yeah, you're done, and it's gonna drag you to a place.
You're not gonna have time to make a noise.
No, ambush predator. Yeah. You're toast pretty quick. It's gonna go right for. It's gonna take you down and go right for the throat. And it's gonna pull you to a place where it can eat you and not be easily seen. Essentially.
And Sam
and you're
Spaghetti,
just going to be very quickly going to be a pile of bones within a matter of hours.
Yeah, but basically. Sam makes a good point. A mountain lion isn't going to hide the clothes or the gun.
Yeah.
Nothing was found.
No, but it could actually. The gun, no. That's a great point. The gun, no. But a gun can fall in the brush, and dogs might never ever find it.
I mean, that's true.
And you might not ever see it, right? And if the mountain lion pulls you into a cave, and I don't mean like this traditional like big old cave. There's not a lot of those, but there are caves in the Adirondacks, and a lot of those areas like it can pull you into basically a crevice.
Yeah,
it'll eat your ass right in there.
That's true.
And there's not going to be much left, right? Yeah, this is going to be closed, but they're never going to find it because it's in an area that's totally inaccessible to humans. You would think still though, dogs, right?
Yeah.
But again, it just points to the fact that when they do search and rescue, I mean, it's limited. Um,
Exactly.
that's why they get as many people as possible so they can cover as much square acreage as they possibly can. But even
Yeah.
if they comb through the whole area back and forth, there's still going to be areas you can't access or even see,
Yeah.
right?
And see, that's the biggest thing. People think that, oh, you do a search and rescue, you're going to find something. Obviously
Right.
not. Obviously not. One of the most unusual theories that comes with the Tom Messick case is the predator theory. There's a theory that a lot of people have thrown out there that some kind of entity has cloaking powers like predator,
I love this
and
story.
has, and they know how to hide themselves. They don't leave a trace behind, and that's what got Tom Messick.
Yeah, and I mean, like that's a cool story and everything, but you know what? Also, really doesn't leave a lot of traces and knows how to hide itself is a fucking mountain lion.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I'm talking about
They
unusual theories.
disappear into the landscape, right? I've seen bear, I've seen black bear up close. I've never seen a mountain lion, um, not in the wilderness, and there's probably a reason for that, you know, because you can't, they're just slinky, scary, stealthy animals. Um, that'd be kind of the thing I'd lean to in this case. Either that or he fell in an area. The Adirondacks are huge. It's massive.
Yeah.
Echo Rift. Anyway,
The best series on Substack. Just saying.
we're gonna end
Yes,
up
it
in the
is.
Adirondacks in Echo Rift. But so thank you, Rebecca. But so yeah, crazy case. Like where to go? Just gone. There's other hunters there.
The thing is, all of these cases, it's such a short amount of time for someone to disappear that it's like, what the fuck is going on?
It's not even hours, it's minutes. Minutes, right? And there ain't, I'm sorry, but I want to say there isn't. It's impossible. It's not impossible. Very unlikely anyone's going to snatch up an 82-year-old man. I mean, that's just a lot of problems. Like, I ain't got my dentures. Like, he's an ornery ass old hunter. He's going to be able to actually still at 82, he's going to be able to a little bit, he's going to give you a hard time. It ain't
Yeah,
going to
but
be
like,
easy. It ain't easy to kill people.
He was an experienced hunter. He has been doing that for years. He knows his way around.
Yep.
That's the real kicker.
Really is. Yeah, because Dennis Martin, 6 years old. This guy's 82. It's at the other end of the age spectrum, right? But that experience, he's hunting when he's still 82. He knows what he's doing.
And one thing that I noticed, looking into a lot of the missing persons cases, were a lot of them are young.
Yeah, which makes sense.
It's not a lot of older people, and there's quite a few kids.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, it gives me bad vibes. But
well, yeah, I mean, they're vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I hate thinking about it too.
Do other animals
eat the clothes? Not likely.
No.
Not unless they're covered in, meat. Not likely. No.
But they have to get through the clothes.
They have to get through the clothes. They're going to tear them up. And absolutely, like, all right, so say a mountain lion or a bear eats somebody. It's usually going to be a mountain lion, unless you're talking about grizzly bears. Black bears, whatever. But it does happen. But that animal eats you, right? There's going to be stuff left. There's going to be bones. There's going to be some meat on those bones. There's going to be
that in a minute.
Yeah. The coyotes are going to come in and clean that up. And the coyotes are going to take those bones to different places, right? That's what they do because they, like a dog, right? It takes a bone and runs off and eats that shit because it doesn't want the other coyotes to get it. That's what they all do,
Yeah.
They act as a pack until they don't, right? They scatter those bones around, and that's why they don't, a lot of the times, that's why they don't find anything if somebody gets taken by an animal. And you'll just never know. And I mean, it's terrible to think about, especially for the families, because they just don't know. Um, it would be easier to know after some time, and where you've dealt with the death, you've gone through the grieving process, but you still don't know. That's got to be an awful thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I think it was Dennis Martin. If he was still
it's a
alive,
good
he
point.
would be 52 or somewhere around there. There's no way. Just say.
He just fell down a damn hole. That no, I mean that's like actually probably one of the easiest explanations, and it's probably absolutely could be a mine shaft, could be just like it could just be erosion where water has washed an area out, and now there's a hole there where there wasn't
Yeah.
before, right?
Mhm.
I want to go back to what Stone Mouse said real quick too, because it's relevant. It blows me away how thoroughly Americans search for missing persons. Extremely different here in India. I mean, they're just. I don't. I don't want to make any judgments on that, but I do want to. All I want to say is that, like, yeah, when especially in rural areas, when somebody goes missing, you're going to get like people from everywhere are going to come in.
Yeah.
The thing I'm reminded of, and it still gives me goosebumps, is maybe this is one of the things that we're still good at in America. But when was it Katrina? I don't know. It was all the flooding they had down in the Midwest. They called it
Yep.
the Cajun fucking Navy, and it was just
Yeah.
thousands of guys with bath boats and little boats that came in. They saved a lot of
A
people,
lot of people.
because that's all. It was a navy, right? It was a navy, a fleet, of little boats. It still gives me goosebumps because it's one of those things where people actually start to help each other again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so weird case. Let's move on to. I think we'll do Stacey Harris next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. um, she disappeared in 1981. I think she was 14. Um, she was on a hike with her father, and I'm not exactly sure if it was his friends or her friends at the Yosemite National Park. Um,
Yep.
at
I've been to
some
Yosemite too.
at some point, she had stopped to take photographs, and her father and the friend group had continued to walk on. But when they realized that she wasn't behind them, they instantly turned around to go try and find her. Um, I just don't
So
understand
that's interesting
how
because I read
you
something.
disappeared that fast.
I read something a little different,
What was yours?
and that's
What?
really interesting. Now, this was 1981, I believe.
Yeah.
1981, yeah. Um, I read that what happened is they were on a horseback and mule trip, right?
Yeah.
And they got to this camp or camp in this general area here,
Hmm.
Sunrise High Sierra Camp. There it
Yeah.
is.
That's where they were. Yeah.
And and the rest of the group that she was traveling with went on because
Hmm.
she was tired or whatever. For whatever reason, she stayed here. Now, it also says that an employee. There's so many conflicting accounts to this case. It's weird.
Yeah. No, I did read
I
that
read that an
other
elderly
people had
employee
seen
stayed
her.
behind with her.
Yeah.
Yes, there were
Yeah.
multiple people. There were a lot of people here. It wasn't.
You didn't let me finish.
There were people around, right?
Mhm.
And I read
Yeah.
things about her asking to borrow a camera to go take pictures of this lake, which is insane. Okay, first of all, she's 14. This is roughly. You're not going to go this way. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
You're not climbing over that bad Larry Mountain right there.
Mm-mm.
It ain't happening. The trail system goes down here and roughly through here, winds through here, and there's a lot of intersecting trails that go crosswise, right?
Yeah.
There seems to be a consensus that she wanted to go to Sunrise Lake and take pictures. Now, I honestly doubt that whole story. And that doesn't mean anyone was lying. It just means that maybe somebody heard something and then it got carried too far, right? That
Yes.
happens a lot. Purple monkey
Because,
dishwasher,
you know,
right?
what I read
Once
was,
somebody says one thing and it turns into a whole thing.
yeah, they were on a
But
trip
go ahead.
for horseback riding. But when she disappeared, they were walking a trail.
Yes.
And she had a
She was
camera
on
of her
foot.
own, is what I read.
Okay. So there was a lot of, and I eventually narrowed down that she seemed to have a camera of her own.
Yeah.
And I think the whole borrowed, I love this. The whole borrowed camera thing was just a story that just happened.
Yeah.
She maybe she wanted to take pictures of Sunrise Lake. Okay. But this is like a mile and a half, 2.5 miles of rough, not easy trail.
Yeah.
The
Because
story I
what
read that she was actually went with an elderly gentleman in his 70s, and he said they saw multiple people on the way there, but he got tired, which tracks, and stopped, and she went on, and then he said that he spoke to people that were coming the other way. This could have been this stretch or this stretch, and they had seen her. He said, right?
Mhm.
Or no, I'm sorry, they hadn't seen her.
Yeah.
So conceivably, she disappeared along this trail somewhere.
Well, see,
Now,
yeah,
hold on, let's
but what?
back up, right? It's 1981.
Mhm.
Okay, it was a different time.
Yeah.
It was a different time, right? Kids and parenting was different.
Mhm.
But she was 14. First of all, bad decision to leave her there without some kind of a parental unit. But
Agreed.
okay, bad decisions happen. I'm not even judging, because especially you don't know, like, right?
Yeah.
Things just happen. You're on vacation. People make bad decisions. Whatever. But why would she want to go? That she must, in my mind, maybe they were like, oh, Sunrise Lake is over there. It's on the other side of that ridge. And she was like, I want to go take pictures. She didn't realize how far this is, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you're walking trail, so it's even farther than it looks here. And this is rough ass country. Look at those mountains,
And
right? That's just sheer
Yosemite
rock.
is known for having
Like,
a very deceptive terrain. So,
yes. Well, look at it.
yeah. But see,
I
that's
mean,
where, see,
you
what
can
I
get lost
read
so easy.
was, she was on the trail, she was walking with her dad and their friend group, and she just wanted to stop to take some pictures. They didn't even walk necessarily that far ahead before they realized, hey, she's not behind us anymore, and she's just gone.
Okay, so that's not what I read. That's not what I read, but that's really interesting, because I read a lot of other stuff that I then found was not necessarily the case,
Yeah.
right? And it was 1981.
Mm-hmm.
Record keeping already sucks, we know,
That's
from
true.
missing persons in national parks. There is no one number. You won't find it.
Yeah.
Go look yourself. You will not find it. You'll find an estimated number at best. But the data they have is mostly for deaths and injuries and found people.
Yeah.
People that just disappear, ain't a lot of data. You'll find it park by park. You'll find better numbers park by park, but you won't find an overall picture for the whole country. So okay. So let's assume that that's the case, that she's and and they stop, or she stops to take pictures, and then she's gone, right? So either she wandered off, which would be very easy in a place like this.
Yeah, because,
There's intersecting trails
you
everywhere.
could think that you're
Or
walking, just 5 feet, and then you realize, oh, no, I've literally walked like 20 feet, and you don't know where anything's at.
no, I mean, yeah. Yep, you turn around and everything looks entirely different.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there myself. It's so easy to get turned around like that. There's restriction kind of used for that sort of thing. Like, you always want to tree falls are a great way to mark where you are. Um, but there's it's still really really
But
easy
one
to get
thing
turned around. And
is,
for a 14-year-old, and for a kid,
there was nothing. No camera was found. Even to this day, as far as I know,
yep,
there was nothing found. Nothing. There was no
not a damn thing.
screams, no
Now,
clothes, nothing.
Yosemite, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Now
crazy.
Yosemite has look, first of all, I this place is amazing. These are all little lakes. These are all alpine lakes. They're fed mostly from snowmelt during the winter, and they remain a lot of them, not all of them, throughout most of the seasons. And there's you fall into a hole like somebody like Juliet already fall into a damn hole. There's
Hmm.
mine shafts. There's caves galore, right? Um, but yeah, they found nothing, right?
Nothing.
Again, a huge search and rescue.
Hmm.
They found nothing. Now you think,
And
right?
this was a, like,
Somebody
within
snatched her up,
minutes
right?
of
And it's
them.
1981. Our
Yeah,
investigative No, I was just going to say our investigative whole whatever isn't going to be as up to speed as it is now.
yeah,
Things aren't going to happen as quickly. People in this huge area, or even in this little area here, are going to wander away before anyone even knows, right? So you're
yeah.
going to have a lot of people that probably should have been questioned that weren't.
Yeah, because
Um,
it was a very well
and
traveled
yeah,
area. There were a lot of people that day that were traveling that exact area,
yep,
and nothing.
good numbers. Yeah, nothing, not a damn thing. I like I don't even like to think about it, but like it ain't easy even for like to snatch up a 14-year-old. They're gonna make some noise, right? You're gonna like
Yeah,
lock them out first, but like it's not as easy. It's not as easy to knock somebody out as most people think. It's not like the movies where you just bonk them on their head and they're out. Like
yeah.
usually, what happens is you try to like if you try to do that, you end up killing them because you break their skull, right?
Hmm.
Like that's or it doesn't work and they make a lot of noise. It's not easy to do, not without some chemical persuasion. It's a terrible
Chloroform.
thing. I shouldn't say these things, but it's true. Like, yeah, I mean, but who the hell's walking around the mountains with chloroform? That's yeah, sure, it could happen if someone was up there for that express purpose. And absolutely, things like that do happen. You can't rule it out,
Yeah,
right? You can't rule it out. What did someone say?
but where she was, I
I swear I'm
guess.
not a serial killer. I wrote a whole piece about it.
Yeah, I guess my
Go
thing
ahead.
is, why would someone? Okay, if you're gonna, let's say you're gonna kidnap somebody, you're not gonna pick an area that's well traveled. I'm I mean, if you're a good one anyway, if you're a good kidnapper anyways, you're not gonna I mean, you're not. You're frozen. Joel will be back. Yeah, you're not gonna pick a well-traveled area if you're gonna try to snatch somebody. If you're smart, anyways. I mean, that might just be me, but I mean, if you, I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, they obviously did not talk to everybody because there were a lot of people apparently that day. So I don't know what happened to Joel. No, it was 81. So there's that. And like I said, Yosemite is a very deceptive terrain. So, and yeah, For almost all of these, they're older cases, so that's why I asked, do you guys think that the outcome would be different today than it was back then? See my baby? They they got Joel. I don't know what happened. My daughter picked this baby out. She wanted it so bad, and I just couldn't say no. So I was like, yeah, you can have the baby. I know, and I don't know what to do with myself, and I'm a little uncomfortable. What do you guys want to talk about until Joel gets back? If he comes back, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if I can. It won't let me sign back in. I took over your live. So do I just like close this out and we redo this? I like how you're messaging on me on here instead of just texting me. Nice. I don't know what to do. Let's see. Oh no. No. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Do you want me to? Do you want me guys to serenade you with a song? I could be an opera singer. Okay. Bye. You gotta come back. You guys have to come back. Promise? If you don't come back, I'll find you, I'll hunt you down, and I will take you out. Bye.